right, hello everyone. So thank you, Petra, for the introduction. So my name is Benan Tabako. I'm an associate professor of business analytics at the Stockton University. And today I have the privilege of basically moderating this session. The title of our session is AI-powered business models, disrupting industries and driving growth. So looking forward to hearing all the talks. I think we have like 3 participants today. So I'm gonna hand it over to the first person in the list. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pronounce their name correctly, so I apologize that they can correct me later. Juzwara Misala, founder and COO of Innovation Eco Solutions and Executive Director of Howden and Entrepreneur. So if you're here, I will be more than happy to hand it to you to basically present your research.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Benan. And it's very interesting to hear all these inventions and in the healthcare and in the education sector. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'll start with a small introduction, and we'll go into the slides, if that's okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Fine. Yeah. So Misala. I'm based in London, United Kingdom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to good night for some of you, wherever you are. It's nice to meet you here on Zoom and webinar. So I've got around 3 decades of experience in computer science and engineering. I studied AI, part of my education in 1998, artificial intelligence and neural networks. That's when there was no data, which was the fuel for AI. So now with the IoT and a lot of things going on with social networking and various, digital banks and the breakthrough in the technology is producing a lot of data, which means a lot of fuel to fly with AI and, get the breakthrough in the industries. So that's really amazing, quite interesting to see things that I studied coming to life and helping the humankind. I worked across banking, financial services, insurance industries, um, and also telecom, energy, utilities, etc. Around 80 companies as a consultant or directly throughout the software development lifecycle, business analysis, project management, etc. So that gives a good first-hand knowledge and experience of where I am. I would like to share my slides, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah.
It's okay. Just bear with me. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Conscious about time. I got 15 minutes, 4 minutes are gone, so I'll be quick. So I've worked, I'm a non-executive director and board advisor as well. Studied in, various things from various universities, such as Oxford, Cambridge, and Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University. Okay, a quick agenda. Intro I've given already. So role of innovation, eco solutions, that I work for, what we do and how we are helping organizations across the globe. And I'll give a few generic case studies rather than specific ones because of the confidentiality and things like that. But these are openly available case studies, how AI has helped various organizations. I chose banking, financial services, and insurance because of the time. Otherwise, I could have gone into oil mining and construction as well. Okay. I'm a ISO 56,000 qualified innovation 360 certified practitioner. Worked across. I've given you all the details already. I'm skipping this. So what is innovation eco solutions? We are the leaders in helping organizations in their domain and expertise. There is no limit. Though I'm primarily focusing on insurance, banking, and financial services sector in this particular webinar. However, it does work across other domains of business, etc. So we help organizations to improve their business innovation and profits. We assess their capabilities versus their aspirations, where exactly they are. We benchmark with by assessing, we benchmark their capabilities compared to the top innovators in the world. As many of you know, that International Standards Organization has launched ISO 56,000 innovation standards last month, 17th of October in Peru, South America. We've studied, I've invested a lot of time into learning what are those standards from innovation management perspective, etc. And yeah, so we help organizations to help with setting up the vision, strategy, process, etc. Okay, facts. So I'll start with a quick question. I don't know in the audience if anyone knows about how much of the worth of transactions that the global banking industry processes every single day. I'll give a quick pause. I don't know if there are anyone who can answer that, at least from here, but people can guess. Why not the chair guess?
Hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Almost close. So it's sorry, yeah, it's $5 trillion for 24 hours. $5 trillion. It can be probably a GDP country's GDP. Going through the financial systems every single day. It produces a massive data, human intelligence, and human manual efforts would struggle to deal with it. Thank God for AI coming. There are pros and cons, but I mean, in this context, it does look after various things. I will slowly deep dive into a few cases. Just wanted to keep an eye on my watch. Okay, so the role of AI in banking, financial services. There are certain things, predictive analytics. So it's like customer behavior based on the country or area, and how they are doing, how they are spending expenditure, cards, loans, or mortgages, etc., etc. It all depends on how customers are behaving, so that banks can come up with new products to be able to help those customers, or AI can help in terms of for example, many of you might have noticed receiving a text on your mobile phone or something that your bill is due, or your something is coming up, things like that. It's customization based on the user's behavior and needs. So that's something that predictive analytics can help to operational efficiency. How it is. Let's talk about customer services. For example, I waited for more than an hour many a times, calling banks or someone to do a basic thing. It can be a basic update of information. So 1 hour is very important in the current world, the way how fast it is moving. So if there is any simple problem that customer is after, that known data, etc., it's just the case that can automatically answer and get the data or call back, or if it is a complex kind of query that user is asking for, then route it to the particular user of a particular department. So these kind of things can be done. Fraud detection, I don't know about you. I do get texts, someone else's texts. I don't know if they are spam, and also phone calls and all. We hear a lot of stories about fraud. Okay, out of $5 trillion of money being going, moving around, people, uh, try to, do the cyber, you know, attacks to try and take on the bank accounts, transfer the, monies, from one bank to other, etc. I've heard so many, scary stories about, that AI can be really accurate in terms of identifying the live fraud detection, things like that. And then personalized experiences. I just mentioned about receiving a text or something. You can actually um, put in your own preferences. Part of your bank account or mobile application management, etc. So AI can help. So this is what I said about anything that is reminding you about upcoming bill. I do get them all the time. See, your direct debit is going off something, so and so tomorrow, or your upcoming direct debit is going. We are going to take your card payment on so and so day, which is really helpful because you are so busy in the world. So that's one of the things. I just want to focus, touch base, two or three use cases based on time very quickly. I won't take long time. Okay. So this is to do with the contract analysis in banking industry. It can be insurance as well. I worked in global specialty insurance, like you insure fleet of Saudi flights or Kuwait Airlines or British Airways, American Airlines, etc. There are millions of pounds premium they are worth, and the contracts can be complicated. People manually reviewing every contract, underlining, if there is anything that they don't agree and go back. It's tedious process. So AI can easily read through the all the contract within a matter of seconds or minutes, and highlight the any complicated clauses within that legal terms, etc., and route it to the right people. How it works, using the natural language processing and machine learning algorithms to read and interpret those key phrases and clauses that are ambiguous to the either user, client, end client, etc. So it is quick. Some of them, like HSBC, Deutsche Bank have implemented. It has reduced review time, manual review time, by 80% of it. Also enhanced the accuracy in terms of contract analysis and likelihood of getting into legal disputes or errors, which can cost millions, in the regulatory industry, as banking and financial services. This is a great use case. Again, this is publicly available. This is just an idea that has been implemented. Then the next one is the sorry, my presentation was playing out. Yeah. So the next one is the fraud detection from the real time. So as I mentioned, let's go back. Let's see, because you may not be able to read properly in this. Okay. So with the rise of, let me put them together. Yeah, with the rise of digital transactions, the $5 trillion dollars moving across, as I mentioned, obviously I mentioned about the fraud and identity being, stolen and try to steal the money. So again, so AI system, it monitors and analyzes the customer behaviors, patterns. Also, if a customer is based in America, for example, why is a transaction happened in let's say in London one day and Germany another day, in Kuwait on the third day, etc. So it can monitor and closely track and highlight how it does. And some of the examples I've mentioned, banks, like HSBC, Citi, Barclays have implemented, and they could be able to save a lot of money for billions of dollars, in fact, for their customers. Okay. The next one, sorry, my presentation sequence has played up. So nothing can replace humans, isn't it? Yeah, manual thing is better than so technology. So the quick one is claims processing. The claims processing, let's go back. So the business model is so there are certain claims, they can be very quick and straightforward. They don't have to sit and wait for days and weeks. So they can program, algorithms in such a way that looks these sort of things with this sort of information that was provided, legitimate compared to the client's, initial policy agreement, etc. Reviewing policy document, claims, and the terms together and comparing the evidence, etc. Process it straight away rather than waiting for someone claims department to review and then something is not right, go to the next level of the superior to get through, and then we've got loads of claims being queued up, etc. So some of the company insurance Lemonade and Allianz, etc. They have implemented automated claims processing using AI. Technology, as I said, natural language processing can go through and contract analysis. They both can feed into this system to be able to analyze and process in seconds. So now from days or weeks to minutes, as you see, it's quick and easy and straightforward. Yeah. And the last one is the personalized banking experience. Okay. So, um, so digital bank first, as you know, everything is at our fingertips now. You can send money, receive money at your fingertips. You can buy anything from anywhere in the world. Um, so I do remember when I worked for a bank a few years ago, they are designing a mobile application where it will come up with offers and things for the members of the bank, based on their preferences or their purchase, patterns and behavior analysis, as we spoke about, predictive analysis, analytics, and things like that. So it can really help, um, in terms of coming out of the traditional banking system into the digital, and how AI can analyze users' data and patterns to be able to help them to show them the personalized, products. It can be within banking or insurance industry, financial services, or anything to do with the purchase or whatever, based on the user preferences. Again, you can see customer support response times have increased by 30%. Okay. So how can we help? You see, as I said, I'm an innovation management practitioner. We look at, any organization in this field. Why do you want to innovate? or, do you want market share or profit, or, do you want to be incremental or radical? So we use blue ocean strategy, which is very proven, and McKinsey's 3 horizon model. This is basically from Innovation 360 AB Group, founded by Magnus Benker. It's amazing. We've tried, tested, and it's really doing fine. And on top of that, it is also having a platform called Transform 360, which will align any company to be able to qualify for the accreditation of innovation. 56,000 certified company. Let's talk about Bank of Kuwait, or Bank of Saudi, or Bank of Riyadh, being or even Lloyd's Bank, or any bank, HSBC we called, being the world's first ISO certified innovative bank, for example, or world's first ISO certified innovative insurance firm, or a construction and things like that, because it's just brand new. How you innovate, what are the process and product. It's a massive science from innovation management, formed based on the 100 years of peer review and study. Okay, I've mentioned it, how we can help assist organizations 360-degree, benchmark them, and then find the challenges where they're lacking, and how we can help them to be pioneers in their domain. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Dr. Misola. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Misola?
I have a quick question, if that's allowed, even though I'm on the panel.
Yeah, sure. Of
Yes,
course.
go for it, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Joe, what a great presentation. Thank you so much. And it's fascinating how many different companies you've worked with. What do you find is the challenge for companies to actually become pioneers and leaders with this exciting new technology of generative AI?
So the first and foremost thing, the vision, mission, and objectives. So when the vision, or the vision should be, I work with founders, and CEO, founding CEOs, because they are up for it. So they're not, I'm not, please don't take me wrong. There are CEOs who are working passionately and doing the stuff, but a founder has a vision, as they want to do something, and that vision may not translate as you go. So the vision is very important, organizational vision, and then marry it with the innovation strategy. What do you want to, I mentioned, because of the time I skipped quickly actually. So what do you want to innovate? Why do you want to innovate? Do you want to innovate to grab hold of the market, or do you want to innovate to be able to generate profit? There are need seekers, there are technology drivers, there are market readers. If you see need seekers, Apple is an example. They just saw the need during the button days, where we used to press them, Nokia, and they've seen that, they saw it over, and they came across. Technology drivers are like Google, those people, they are the pioneers. So they have seen they have converted an idea into something massively big, and it is not easy to overtake them. Yes, there are competitors, but you have seen years and decades on. Yeah. And then there are market readers. If there is a takeaway in this street, you go for another take. Well, there is a takeaway next to it. Why is it? So a person who wants to go in there, let me talk about myself. So I was visiting a place, northwest of England. We were hungry, kids were hungry. We went for fish and chips, and then there is a pizza place. Fish and chips was too busy. Probably it was more popular. We did not want to wait. We went into pizza and we ordered a pizza. So everything goes on. Think about it. You go for a drinks machine, there is a, let's say, Coca-Cola drinks machine. There will be Pepsi drink machine. There will be Sprite, 7-Up, everything will go. So So people are making a lot of money. So you need to answer it precisely, you need to understand what approach you want to take. That's where we kind of help. So where are your strengths are? You want to grab hold of the market, which means which way you need to take, what sort of innovation strategy you need to apply for. You are just after the profit because market leaders will be on the profit. They want to split the entire revenue in that particular industry and sector. Androids and Apples, you can see, we don't need to name each and everything. So they split the market, but they're all doing fine. So a smartphone came, there's so many smartphone companies involved, they're all doing fine. So it depends what's your vision, where you want to go for, what process, what strategy would it go for. Secondly, let's say you're a startup. We are talking about phones, You're a
Thanks,
startup.
Salah. I mean, I would love to hear you, and
Yeah.
thank you so much for your answer. But like, we should be mindful of the time also, so we are running
Sorry
a little
about,
bit
yeah,
late. No,
let's
no,
move on. Yes.
you're good. I apologize for that, but like, yeah, we are like 10 minutes behind, 10, 12 minutes behind. So, yeah, thank you so much. So let's
Thank you. Yeah,
now
thank you for
hand
the
things
opportunity.
over to Dr. Phil. Yeah, Dr. Phil Bowden from MIT Lab and MIT Management. He's a senior lecturer and diplomatic advisor to MIT. Dr. Phil, do you want to take it over?
Certainly. Joe, thanks for that answer. And thank you, Bainam. In terms of this panel, do we have any of the others on there? How long should I take?
So we have three speakers today. So Dr.
Okay.
Misala was the first one. So you're the second one. So roughly speaking, 15 minutes, maybe with questions and answer, we can make it 20.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I will start off by attempting to share. And I can imagine it's late in Kuwait. So I want to make sure we keep the process going and keep everybody awake. Although I am in the same time zone as Joe, though based at MIT in America, I am back here in London, which is always a pleasure. So the title was AI-powered business models disrupting industries and driving growth. And I want to talk about this in a much broader, going back to basics approach than Joe, who is clearly a very valued consultant working with lots of large, serious companies. I just want us to step back a moment because not everybody is going to be able to work in one of these leading companies that has a clear vision and a clear sense. So, oh, this is me. This is from before the pandemic, before my hair went grey and before my glasses were required. But I am indeed Dr. Phil Budden. I'm at MIT. I'm a senior lecturer, which is MIT code for not a professor. So I actually spent 20 years as a British diplomat before coming into MIT. I'm delighted to be there at MIT and its management school. I work in the Tech Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Strategy Group, TIES, and as a diplomat, I often find myself taking an international perspective. So I'm delighted to be speaking at this very international event today. So we are fascinated by technology. MIT is an institute of technology. It appears in many movies as a backdrop for innovation, whether it's Iron Man, Tony Stark, who is our most famous but not real alum of MIT, but also it appears in the Wakanda movies where they make fun of MIT as being no better than a Wakanda high school. But on this planet, we're fairly good at technology. But it's interesting, we put technology in the context of innovation. And so I want us to back up just for a moment to think about innovation. And I'm going to share with you MIT's definition of innovation, not because we have any monopoly on the word, but to show you how we had to come up with a definition that works for us. And I think many of the leaders who are joining this very interesting conference need to think about what it means for them to lead innovation, particularly in the context of interesting technologies. And the technology of the day is generative AI. So MIT's definition, and if you can't sleep, there is a link in the top right to more material on this. But in the short form, MIT defines innovation as the eight-word description of the process of taking ideas from inception to impact. Now, this was agreed by the professors. I'm not a professor, so they didn't ask me. So I was just struck when they put this out there. And the first thing I realized was we don't have the word technology in our definition of innovation. We are an institute of technology. We love technology. Our professors have invented the various technologies at the bottom of the slide, PowerPoint slide, but we don't put the word technology in our definition of innovation. That's because innovation is more than just technology. And as Joe was suggesting through his consulting work, just because the technology exists, in this case, generative AI, doesn't determine whether people are going to use it. So just to unpack our brief description of innovation, if I start at the end, we have the word impact. If we were a business school, we'd probably say profit. We have a much wider definition. We like profits. We like companies and organizations that can bring in more money than it costs to run their activity. This is true of for-profit companies, but it's also true of government agencies, and it's also true of charitable not-for-profits. I was talking today with a government agency in Riyadh, Monshaat, the SME agency. They're not about making a profit, but they are about having an impact. The beginning word, process, is very important. It's not a single moment of inspiration. Innovation is more than just invention. Innovation is more than just somebody saying generative AI is the future. It's actually a process. And this is where all kinds of executives and leaders can play a key role, taking the ideas to impact as they decide it. And then the key point is an idea. There are many ideas in the world. Our students at MIT are constantly coming up with ideas. Because they don't seem to sleep, they can work on most of these ideas. But for us adults who need our sleep and have busy day jobs and families, we have to decide which ideas to work on. And the way we assess that is it a good match between a problem and a solution? In this case, generative AI counts as a technology solution. It's very exciting, but what business problem, societal problem, or mission problem does it help us with? So, to recap, innovation is more than just technology, although some technologies like generative AI coming in from the innovation horizon do enable all kinds of exciting activities. One of the challenges is there's been a couple of interesting digital technologies in the last couple of years. So teaching executives over the last 5 years, they've been saying, we've just heard about cryptocurrency. Is that the thing that's going to disrupt our business? Well, it was jolly exciting for a year, but it didn't actually disrupt many people's business. The next year, they said, it's not crypto, it's actually the blockchain. And so a lot of executives spent a year thinking, oh, is blockchain going to disrupt us? It's like, no, it wasn't blockchain. Then it was non-fungible tokens. Do you remember those? And DAOs, all kinds of things. And the executives are saying, is that the technology that's going to disrupt us? And then it was the metaverse. One company even renamed itself Meta, thinking that metaverse was going to change things. And yet, on the whole, most of us don't live in virtual reality. The problem with these exciting digital technologies is by getting excited about them, we sometimes miss the one that really is the game changer. And I commend the organizers of this conference because generative AI really is that game changer and is the digital technology that could disrupt your business. The challenge for business leaders is you might not have been paying attention, and generative AI may have come as a shock to you because you were distracted by the metaverse and the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. And that's why innovation is more than just a technology. Just because the technology of blockchain exists doesn't mean it's going to be used for innovation and threaten to disrupt your company. The second key point is innovation is more than just a buzzword, although there are plenty of those out there. Agile, lean, entrepreneurs, sprint, scrum, platform, hackathon. The challenge for leaders is to work out what is the innovation that matters. And generative AI is going to separate out companies that do well from companies that get disrupted. And putting on my diplomatic hat, it's actually going to shake out economies and countries who do well, and others are going to fall behind with generative AI and suffer. And that's why this whole process, it requires management and leadership. Now, we allow ourselves as a management school one graphic, and I said that an idea is a match between a problem and a solution. If it's a low novelty solution being applied to a low novelty problem, that's BAU, which is American for business as usual. The problem is when you think of innovation, just existing out at the far horizon. McKinsey, since 1999, has been talking about 3 horizons. We're not sure that their metaphor is perfect, because some of the things that you think are horizon 3 are actually much closer than you realize. And so for a long time, people thought that generative AI was horizon 3 out at the far distance. Interestingly, the first AI GPTs came out in 2017. So for those who were paying attention and weren't distracted by blockchain and the metaverse, they've been watching generative AI for the last 6 years and are profiting from it. For others, they may only have heard about generative AI last year or maybe even in today's conference. It's the people who are late to understanding the digital technology who are the ones who risk being disrupted. And that's why I commend the organizer of this conference for making us think through what are the consequences of this technology solution. So some people may feel that generative AI is out there as a big eye innovation challenge at the far horizon and they don't need to worry about it. Actually, it's already having impacts. And Joe was very persuasive in talking about some of the ways in financial services and especially insurance that little I 10% improvements using generative AI can give some companies competitive edge with cost of customer acquisition or the ability to spot fraud, which means that others are going to be at a disadvantage. And those 10% improvements add up, separating the good companies from the ones that become disrupted. Now, it's not destiny to become disrupted. There is still time to adapt, but unless leaders take generative AI seriously, they do run the risk of being disrupted by the ones who are leaning into this opportunity. So one of the things we encourage leaders to do is to think about what are they working on in terms of innovation. 6 years ago, AI was out at the far horizon. It's now come crashing into our lives with business as usual. And so we encourage leaders to think about where are they putting their efforts. They may have some people doing R&D in their particular sector. Generative AI is going to affect all sectors. And one of the challenges for leaders is they might be interested in just doing business as usual, operational excellence, quarterly earnings. The problem is AI is about to disrupt that, and they need to realize that they have to adapt quickly. The way we encourage people to think about this is the way that startups work. Startups are very good on that problem solution match of ideas. They start off imagining a problem and therefore what the solution might be. Now that we've got generative AI, the act for innovators in large organizations is to work out what problem can generative AI solve, and then to run an experiment. I fear that a lot of executives are going to face analysis paralysis, where they're trying to understand generative AI, they're trying to get their arms around what's going on, and actually it's happening so quickly that if you are trying to choose your favorite flavor of generative AI, you may get completely overtaken by things. Just try to keep up with the open AI versions out there is a full-time job. But if you're trying to do Google Gemini or Notebook LM, you're trying to work on Claude for Anthropic, you may get lost. And so we encourage leaders to actually be more like startups and to do small experiments and try generative AI to make 10% improvements to their business. And just like startups go through a series of experiments in the wild of an innovation ecosystem, startups will explore at a hackathon, then validate in a competition, accelerate, and then scale. We encourage leaders of large organizations who are maybe not AI first as organizations to run a series of experiments as like, where can generative AI help in your business? Joe gave us the example of tackling fraud in insurance. Pick a business problem and see if one of the varieties of generative AI helps you with that. If it does, then run another experiment in that area that's bigger and more powered. If not, pivot and try a different issue. In terms of large organizations, when they're doing their internal corporate pipeline of trying things, you should try lots of things at the very beginning, stage 1, and then work out which ones are most useful, and then give them more resource to go into stage 2, but also be willing, as you can see from the stop sign, is to stop experimenting. This is difficult for large organizations. There's a reason that the main breakthroughs from generative AI did not come from the big tech companies like Microsoft, Google, or Apple. Microsoft had to partner with the startup OpenAI. It turns out that the startups are much better than this than the large corporates, whether they're public sector, corporates, or private sector. So we should think a bit like a startup as we run experiments with generative AI in our organizations. The final point I'll make before wrapping up is that leadership is really important. The people at the top of a large organization have the X factor. They don't have to be the most entrepreneurial or tech savvy or AI brilliant people, but the senior leaders, because of the nature of large organizations, have a disproportionate impact on what happens in the middle and front line below. And so if large organizations want to deal with generative AI and benefit from it rather than be disrupted, the senior leaders need to become architecting leaders, making sure that they are supporting their frontline entrepreneurial staff running experiments with generative AI. They need to be rewarding the good ideas and moving the bad ideas aside. And especially as leaders, they need to help the middle management become enabling. Sometimes people say that innovation dies with the middle management of the frozen permafrost. It doesn't need to, but AI will not transform your organization unless leadership is provided from the very top. Now, I've tried to give you a very short version of this today. What I'd like to reassure you is we teach this around the world. And so we teach this approach here in a program called REAP. We have taught this in every one of those regions with a dot. I was just chatting with two of my current teams, which are in pink, namely Team Riyadh from Saudi Arabia and Team Ramallah from the West Bank today. They are trying to implement these approaches. And if any of this is of use, you can contact these REAP teams. We believe that each REAP team should have each one of the key 5 stakeholders. And large organizations, whether they are governments or corporates, can learn from working with the entrepreneurs who are much quicker at adopting things like generative AI. Equally, if you'd like follow-on material, we have material available online. I'll put it all in the slides available later. And I must say, we're very pleased that we finally have produced a book about this to help people called Accelerating Innovation, which will be coming out in April. We're actually going to launch it at an Innovation Academy at MIT if anybody would like to come and see this in action. And I was just told earlier today that I'm doing a webinar on this subject on the 2nd of December, where I'll get a full hour on this subject. But I was very keen not to take too long and be respectful to the other speakers. So with that, I'm calling this to a close and stopping sharing my slides. So Benham, I'm happy to either take questions now or immediately pass back to you and our next speaker.
Yeah, I think we have like a couple of minutes to work on questions. If
Okay.
there's any questions, that would be great. And thank you so much for your presentation. That was great. Does anyone have any question for Dr. Phil?
I see Professor Naz O'Neill has come off camera. I'm not sure if you had a question, Professor O'Neill.
My apologies. I joined later, so I was only able to hear what you had to say. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe less than that.
That was probably the best 10 minutes,
But
Naz.
I am definitely planning on joining your upcoming event, December 2nd. If you don't mind sharing that information, I'm really interested in learning more about what you're doing. It's a fascinating area.
Well, thank you. And Professor, where are you based?
South Jersey, Stockton University, same institution as Benham here. Yes.
Excellent. Oh, you're one of Benham's friends. Okay, Stockton in New Jersey. I like that. Very good.
Yes, yes. You're in Boston.
I'm normally in Boston, but today I'm in London with Joe. Oh, Joe, I see you have your hand up. Sorry, I didn't see that.
You get invitation from Joe?
Joe,
I know we're meeting here first time actually.
Okay. I'm making this meeting because you meet him in my conference, right?
Yes,
definitely.
yes. This is
You've
the first
connected
time.
us.
Yes. I'm in London, by the way, in the city tomorrow, Phil. We can catch up. It's very fascinating. I just want to thank you. You highlighted a lot of things, but I have a quick question, if you don't mind. conscious about time.
If
I think I took.
Benham allows us, yes.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, so you hit the nail on, on the forehead, where you have to be. It's really wonderful topic and the coverage that you've done. One quick thing I've noticed, please, could you also try and help me to answer? So now with the adoption of this AI and Gen AI into various industries, healthcare and insurance, banking, construction, everything, there is a competition, indirect competition or unconscious competition among the companies, and the CEOs and C-suits are under pressure to, our competitor has taken on, and we need to go ahead. They're not laying the foundations, but they're just, because the competitor has taken on and we want to go ahead with it. So I wanted to ask your opinion about rushing and taking on before actually laying the foundations of the approach, which I spoke about, vision and strategy, where they want to be.
Yeah, Joe, that's such a great question. I can see the experience of your consulting years coming through there. Yes, one of the reasons we encourage large organizations to run small experiments with these exciting technologies is because as large organizations, they compete with other large organizations. But also they have a brand and they have legacy customers and they probably can't make mistakes. We hear a lot about the OpenAI startup. There are so many AI startups that failed. Now, if an AI startup fails, that's not a problem. If Jamie Dimon applies generative AI incorrectly to JP Morgan, that is going to be headline news. That is going to wipe value off of his company. So we encourage large organizations to proceed cautiously. Without naming names, at the beginning of generative AI, by which I mean ChatGPT, which the innovation was basically putting GPT 3.75 with a chatbot in November 2022. It was amazing how many of my financial services people were early adopters, excited to use it, but didn't realize that they were putting customer data into the ChatGPT model, which Microsoft could read. And so one of the reasons to proceed cautiously is that the entrepreneurial bankers might not always realize the laws they break by implementing these things. And that's why it can't just be done by people making it up. There needs to be a level of senior engagement and especially working with consultants like yourself so they can think through the risks that are taking place. So yes, no, it's important to take this carefully. If startups fail, that's one thing. But if large organizations, banks, or indeed governments get this wrong, I was working with a Ministry of the Interior from a Gulf Cooperation Council country. If the Ministry of the Interior gets that wrong, that's really bad news. And so it's important to proceed carefully.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. That's really, a wonderful answer. Yes, to hear. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Phil. Thank you, Dr. Joe. So let's move forward to our final presenter basically today, Ms. Sheetal. She's founder and CEO of Innovation Eco Solutions in UK. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much, Benham, for giving this opportunity. My name is Sheetal Misala. I am the CEO and the co-founder of the Innovation Eco Solutions. If you have seen the name Misala, yeah, obviously we started together, Joe, Misala, and myself, with the Innovation Eco Solutions. So I'm based in the UK as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Phil, for the wonderful presentation. I really going to take this home saying that the startups, think like a startup. So that's amazing. Thank you. So I will be going to share the screen now. Just bear me 2 minutes. Sorry, 2 seconds. Let me turn off and share. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Can you see my
Professor Phil? If you share your presentation through WhatsApp or email.
Oh, sorry. I'll just go back again. For some reason, it's not.
Definitely, I will do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, well done, Sheetal.
Thank you. So just quick intro, role of the Innovation Eco Solutions, what we do in the company, and then the AI-powered business models and the case studies, obviously, and how we can help. So about our company, as I mentioned, we are the Innovation Eco Solutions, and also I do work for the Innovation 360 certified practitioner. We worked for various industries around the healthcare, energy, transport, insurance, etc. So what we do, we help organizations to achieve the best outcomes in customer experience and the insights, especially during the challenging situations. That's what we do. With the Innovation Eco Solutions, what we do, we help organizations to be the pioneers in helping organizations to be the leaders in their domain, help organizations to get international standard organizations, as Joe mentioned, ISO 56000 accreditation. And what we do, we help business innovation using proven Innovation 360 framework, the framework that we have, how he explained why, what, and how, and also the methodologies. The benchmarking their innovation capabilities versus top innovators. And how we do perform a 360 degrees analysis of the capabilities versus the top innovators' capabilities. And then what we do, we assess the organization capabilities and aspirations as well to help and to help them achieve up to 35% EBITDA, and also to help transform organizations. As Joe mentioned, it's a transformation 360. And and also we help implement corporate vision, innovation strategy, and process as well. So that's quite a list there. So as I said, we assess the world. So we have an access to the world's largest innovation database, around 100 years of study, research, and peer review of innovation management and sciences. And this is done by Magnus Penker, Innovation 360 founder and the CEO. So as Joe mentioned, is the 3 horizon models we work with, 1, 2, and 3, using the AI data-driven tools for business innovation. And also we do the qualitative and quantitative analysis. What is this? So we do talk to the people, interview them, and within the organization, what I meant. And the qualitative is the numbers or where we get from the AI data-driven tools that we have. So today I am going to be talking about the disruptive industries and data, the driving growth, but I will be covering the healthcare and environmental sustainability, just the basic approach. I'm not going to deep dive, but just going to go around. So I just want you to think about the last time you or the loved ones have a medical test. It's just a basic scenario. I just wanted to bring up so everybody would understand and we stand in the same page. So perhaps an MRI or an eye examination, the waiting, especially in the UK, when we need an appointment, it takes ages for us unless it depends on the emergency. So waiting for an appointment to get through a GP, and an uncertainty, for example, the repeated visits if the results were unclear. Now imagine a world where AI analysis, those, medical images almost instantly catching issues early, and also providing accurate, diagnostics and reducing the need for follow-up scans. That's amazing what we do with the AI. So it isn't a far-off dream. It's happening today. So it's a great thanks to the AI technology. And then the Google DeepMind. So I wanted to talk about the early detection and the patient care. So let's start with a powerful example. So I've got this from the Google DeepMind's AI tool for disease detection, for example. This AI system analysis, retinal, for example, just an example, retinal images to detect conditions like diabetes, retinopathy, with a remarkable 94% catching these diseases early. AI not only helps prevent these serve complications, but also reduces the need for more intensive treatments later on. that means it's a fewer, invasive procedures and lower healthcare costs, and also the most importantly, better patient outcome. And also with the early detection and patient care, imagine, for example, an elderly person, who can avoid vision loss because, her doctor was able to diagnose or maybe treat her condition early, all thanks to the AI precise analysis. It's innovation like these are, giving patients a better quality of life, what I feel here. And also the sustainable drug discovery, faster and greener. So why I wanted to bring up this drug discovery, because AI impact does not stop at diagnostics. It's also revolutionizing the way we develop medication. Companies like Atomwise, if you've heard of it, Atomwise are using AI to screen billions of chemical compounds quickly, predicting their, potential as drug candidates. This can reduce the need for physical lab testing, cutting down on chemical waste and, the energy consumption during the drug trials. When we come to the environmental impact, by streamlining the drug, discovery process, AI helps minimizing the environmental footprints for, for example, pharmaceutical research. In a time when the world is increasingly focused on, achieving net zero goals, AI also, creating a greener healthcare system cannot be overstated. So that's amazing as well. With the sustainable facilities, as we see this reduction in the energy usage in pilot hospitals and contributing. Sorry, just move this aside. Did I stop sharing this? Oh no, sorry. I just went back again. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So net zero in hospitals, beyond patient care, AI is helping healthcare facilities themselves becoming more sustainable. For instance, Philips, they are using AI